The more you try to keep me down and keep my head above the water, you can never hold me down. The more you try to block me out, that's where I kick the wall down. You can never hold me back. The more you try to put me out, the more I'll be blazing, it's too hot. The more you try to put me in the dirt, increase my work, the expert. You see the hunger in the eyes of a survivor. Swallowed my pride, washed down with some saliva. Reinvented my whole life, mental MacGyver. One door shut, another open up wider. Listen, battle drums in the distance.
Hey everybody, it's another Tuesday afternoon. It's evening. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is how you know that I've been like off on another planet and trying to make my way back to reality because it's not enough water and too much wood stove heat in the house. There's been sweating my butt off all weekend. Which brings me to this beautiful Tuesday evening. I get to hang out with West Coast Oktiv6, theater kid turned lyrical genius, hanging out. You went back to it. You've been around since like 2000. You've been a two-man crew, a couple-man crew, a single dude, all these things, and navigated the festival circuit. And now you're doing some really cool stuff that I definitely want to hear about, like the youth evenings and stuff like that. So a big, thick, warm West Coast to Alberta. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me tonight, Oktiv6.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Welcome back.
For sure. I think it's been, I don't know, when was the last time? Maybe 2 or 3 years? It's been a while, I guess.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. I went back and watched the first the episode that we did, and yeah, I definitely have a different backdrop. And you might have been like on the first circuit, actually, to be honest. Like there was like this wicked West Coast like arc that we did when we first kind of hit the internet, and Calico hooked us up with like like you and Surreal and Caleb Hart, and you were like you're in amongst all those amazing dudes. So thank you so much for coming back and spending some time with us over at Pinecase. How have you been?
I've been good. I've been really good, actually. Yeah, really sort of thriving, sort of taking a bit of a different direction. I'm working with a band quite a lot nowadays. Musically, I have a small like funk band, and I really like that. I prefer it. You know, I prefer being with the band. I'd be with the band all the time, probably if I could. They're really, really talented. They're all just really top-notch players, and recently added a new drummer who's also a vocalist, so that really adds something. We've been really busy and still are, even now, kind of into that time of year when things would normally be going pretty quiet. You know, we're still just playing all the time.
Yeah, that's amazing. We talked the first time, and you told me about how like you started off hitting like a massive stage, and then it's like, hey, what do you do after this, right? Like, what do you do after like a big thing? And it's like it's like that feeling, like what happens next? But you've kept like the momentum like going, and it's just really interesting. It's just been really interesting to kind of watch. Like, so when I said wood stove, it was kind of like a playoff, like what's actually happening in my house right now. But to see you with a band, like a group behind you, like there's got to be I don't want to say a benefit, but like tell me a little bit about like the camaraderie on stage and like playing, like going back and forth with two vocalists. Like that's really cool.
Yeah, it is cool, and it's, I don't know, it's so different, you know, because I was just a straight up rapper for so long, just performing on beats, and beats are cool because they're 100% consistent. But they're also totally static, right? Like if you mess up, that's it, you're off. But when you have a band, the band can hear you, and you can improvise, and you can be like, hey, the crowd's really feeling it. Let's stretch this out. Let's make this song 8 minutes long because people want to keep dancing, right? And I don't know, like the music can hear you, right? It's interactive. It's not just you and a machine. And I think just having so much more going on stage, it's a lot easier to be entertaining. You know, it doesn't all just fall on you, just one person alone on stage. It's a lot to be entertaining like that. You know, it's you got to really dump a lot of energy out there. And And you know, there's things to get used to. I mean, with the band, I'm doing 2, 3, even 4 hour sets, right? Whereas rappers are doing 10 to 30 minutes, you know, so there's a lot of adjustments to be made. And yeah, having a second vocalist is pretty crazy. We haven't had that for very long. And our new drummer, it's interesting having a drummer as a vocalist too. And she's just a really amazing musician all around. She's in a couple other bands where she plays guitar or sings. She sings alone, like acoustic style. She's a really brilliant musician all around, and we're super lucky to have her. It's her first band as a drummer, but I think she's been a musician since she was a child. I feel like maybe her dad was a musician or something. Like she's been kind of cultivated her whole life. And you know, people that start things when they're kids, it's different. You know, other people just can't. You can never compete with a person who's been doing something since they were a kid. It's a different learning curve. Like regardless of talent or effort, if you pick something up with as an adult, it's just not quite the same, you know. And then our guitar player he's the only guy who's still around from the original band, which was the band I had last time we spoke. We came right out of the gates with the 5 Acre concert series. That was our first show ever. We opened for Caleb Hart. That was pretty wild, you know. That was our first show ever. And yeah, one of our bass player moved. He actually moved out there. He's out in Alberta as well. He's in Camrose, I believe.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he went back because his family's from there, and he just went back. And yeah, we were in search of a drummer, and Christy came up, and it's been really a big it's been a game changer. Just adding a second element and just the dynamic. I don't know. Yeah. We're really hitting our stride.
Beautiful. Just real quick, for those of you guys that are in the comments right now, I don't know if you haven't checked out Caleb Hart. I'm not sure where you've been, but to open for Caleb Hart, who is just like a powerhouse of energy and ooze stage presence and enthusiasm. I don't know if I would be so brave. I'd be like, okay, it was super nice, great idea, guys. Like, I'm
yeah,
like
it was like something else.
Yeah, that's a tough thing to follow, but beautiful.
It was Caleb Hart and XL the band. XL the band was also there that same night, you know, which for people that don't know, that's Rob the Viking and Prevail have put together a band. So yeah, that was wild too. That was who we were up there with for our very first stage. Like, so it's only Prevail and Rob the Viking, no big deal.
No big deal. It's like Canadian royalty. Like
our first, that was we just came right out of the gate like that. And I don't know, it was when, you know, that game may not, that must have been, because that was the first year that they were back after COVID. They were doing the concert series. They weren't doing the full on shaker because they were still recovering. They didn't do the 5 Acre shaker. They did sort of some smaller things. Those first years back, which proved to be wise because some production companies came back after COVID, did 1 or 2 shows and then tanked, right? Like we lost Music Fest. I don't know, anyone from around the Comox Valley or the island would know Music Fest has been a really big thing here since the 70s or 80s, you know, like in some big, it's a bit of a different crowd. Like it's an older crowd, but like some big names, big acts came to it every year, and it was always a really big thing. And it's gone. They just folded. They did 1 or 2 after COVID, and you know, kind of some Hail Marys with the last little bit of money, I think, and it just didn't go, and it's gone, you know. And I think that happened to a few event type of companies, you know.
Yeah, there's been a shift in like in what was going on, definitely when it comes to like the festival scene. There's a couple people that have stood the test of time, and you're right, like they did the right thing. They either didn't do an event at all, or like held back a little bit until they kind of knew what was happening, or did like like series or showcases or whatever. And it was that's smart business planning. I mean, and you have to be like that. You have to be proactive in today's music climate, in the entertainment climate, period, right? Like, it's completely changed. I mean, COVID definitely changed it, but we were already kind of on the horizon of change anyways, right? Like self-promotion was kind of coming up the pipeline in a bigger way. It never, I mean, I grew up in a space that looked a lot more like, oh, we're gonna get the big break and then we're gonna, go triple platinum and it's gonna be like this big thing. Whereas we're now like, people don't even really know what triple platinum means. They're just like, I need to get these like streams or whatever, right? So yeah, it's been wild to watch it change. But then you go over to something like Quadripalooza, which is like that's a standard for the island. I mean, for me, that was something that we grew up just like absolutely adoring. Like, you're going, I mean, people would go from work go back. It's like it didn't matter what state you were in, like you went to Quadripalooza, right? So
sure. And it hasn't changed a bit. And I think, again, I guess just the model they had was resilient and it was able to survive, just being so plugged into Quadra and having Quadra itself as a resource, right? Like, you just contained, it's safe. I took my son with me. He's 12. He was 12, and it was the perfect one to bring a kid to. He could run around and be like a cheeky preteen, but he was also like, as the parent, he's totally safe. You're on Quadra. There's nowhere you're going, right? You're in the ball field in Quadra. There's nothing that's, man, it was fun. I just, go 4 or 5 days without wearing shoes or, just, I don't know. Quadripalooza was really amazing, but it's true though. The whole sort of climate has really changed, and I think running any type of business now, just everything is so expensive, and everybody's margins are different. Sort of talking to the guys that were doing like Atmosphere Gathering, which then became Cumberland Wild. Which then became, I think it was Big Time Out, then it was Atmosphere Gathering, and then that crew, they still do Pachina Bay, but that's just talking about for them how those festivals weren't really financially viable anymore. Just having to bring in your own infrastructure, bring in generators, bring in, and it just wasn't adding up anymore. It just wasn't doable, and it's really sad, honestly. Those events were amazing for the community and for the arts in general, and all the local artists and musicians that had the opportunity to get on those stages. And it's a bummer. It's a bummer that those things, the numbers just don't work anymore.
How do we as a community fight what is happening in this industry right now? Like, I know that selling the live show, like, for the old consumers, they understand the importance of being in a space with live music, right? But some of these youth just don't understand that, and they're not really willing to open up their pocketbook to the same experiences that held artists afloat. Like, I don't think people realize in a really serious way that if you just actually Venmo or donate or e-transfer homie $5, like, it actually makes a flipping difference. Like, you guys are out there like sweating your freaking balls off, man. Like, holy, and then and even the festivals, it's like you whatever, you pay $100 or whatever, you guys you get like 30 bands, man. Like, Jesus, do the math. Like, this is like, it's just, I feel like we're in this space where it's like becoming harder and harder to not even market, but just explain to the consumer what it is that is trying to be accomplished here. It's like, it speaks straight to your mental health. I mean, you can go down the frequency route, or you can go down the community route, or whatever, or grounding. So you just said you took your shoes off and walked barefoot for days. Like, that's it. Days on end. That's real medicine, right? And it's like, how do we like, how do we explain that to the consumer, man? It's just like, you guys, like, we are responsible to keep this afloat, to allow artists to keep coming back, and the promoters to be promoting, and the producers to be producing. It's like, we have a responsibility to you artists to like get our shit together. Pardon my language, but I'm just like, man, like it's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think taking your kids is a big part of it, but
Mhm.
um, introducing them to it like personally with your own actual children, if everyone's doing that. But it does. It seems like young people, they'll go to like stadium style super huge
Mhm.
shows, but that's kind of it. Like the local thing doesn't seem as important, and I guess it's probably a lot to do with the way they're seeing content created and developing. Like you blow up online and then you just go straight to a stadium, like
Right,
that
right,
that
yeah.
that sort of like local bar climb up thing. It's like, I don't know if that's how it is. It's like this overnight explosion of viral. That seems to be how it happens, and you see that with everything. Like you were talking about signing deals, and even labels. They don't just find promise. It's like, oh, this young artist seems very promising. They have something we can sell, yada yada. It's more like, oh, this person is already selling at a certain point. Um, let's grab it and boost it. Like, but you have to. Yeah, the metric seems to be just following, and what following you have. You see it in everything with applications or anything. You talk to bars or you talk to venues, they want to know what your following is. They want to know what your numbers are. And that seems to be the biggest thing. Eyes, like how many eyes do you bring with you? Um, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's just a new game to learn.
Yeah, which I guess is like a fair thing. Like, I do think that there is like an importance that it's good to be like aware of like what you bring to the table and what your value is, so that way you're not getting like played, and also so that you can be respectful of like the bars and pubs and clubs that you go to. I think that there's an important piece to like seeing the schematics and the back piece of it. I think, I'm like, okay, we might be onto something here. However, trying to convince like people to go to and we talked about this a little bit before, actually, trying to convince youth to do the middle piece is like, they don't understand it. They don't even, and you're right, like they don't see the C, right? They just see A, or they don't see C, D, E, F, nothing. They see A and they see Z, and then they're like, I don't have to do anything. I just have to do this one thing in front of the camera, and eventually I'm just gonna be famous. They don't see like learning sound might actually push you into like a career, instead of it just being like a 5-second reel, right? It's like they don't see that, back in the day, like physical tickets was maybe as important, and now even like with the scanners, it's like there is like a piece to that, like how you're going to sell yourself, or are you going to go in on the tickets, or are you going to sell them yourself, whatever. It's like there's like this like sweat equity piece that I don't know. And as I'm talking, I'm hearing myself on how absolutely old I sound, and I don't mean to like date myself. I just, as like as an elder, I'm like, shit, I think we kind of bypassed a piece a little bit. We need to like reel it back in and like show them what's up. And like, I think Quadripalooza is a great space that kind of brings everybody together in one space. And
Well,
I would like to see
yeah.
that.
Well, and relearning the value of that, like, those shows where you go and nobody there is really famous are actually super fun too.
Yeah.
Like sort of yeah, just relearning the value. Sort of like, yeah, it's fun. It's fun, and you might see some band that is from Cranbrook and you've never heard of them, and you just love it. You just never know what you might discover that you wouldn't have otherwise, and just yeah, just seeing that there's value in things that aren't valued by the hive mind, right? Um,
Yeah, I love that.
It's like, well, it doesn't have a million views, so it's not valuable. But relearning that, and I think maybe, you know, this might spiral to the point where that we relearn that out of almost out of necessity. It'll just kind of naturally evolve that way. You know, you see, you know, talking about these big stadium shows, and they're $1,200 or whatever, you know, and eventually it'll probably get to the point where it just kids aren't going for that reason, and they'll be like, well, what do we do? It's
Yeah,
like, well,
right.
we could go to the Masons Hall. There's some weird old punk band, and then they'll be like, oh, this is actually rad. You know, like it might sort of come back around just, you know, naturally, because it's becoming it's those things are not really accessible, you know, which is also maybe a result because nobody's selling records anymore. So you have to charge $1,000 for a ticket if you want to make any money like you used to. So that, you know what I mean? It's, you know, we might see a revival just out of
Man,
necessity of that sort of stuff, right?
yeah, I'm sitting over there like this might actually be like a thing. Like maybe we can actually smash the glass ceiling a little bit and like get back to like what's good, right? Like holy shit,
Yeah.
yeah. Punk
Might
show
smash
at the
itself.
Masons Block. Like yeah, that's yeah. I never really. Oh, that's like it's okay. I'm like okay. We might make it as a society. We might make it because like music's
Like, who are
important,
these
man.
kids? Like,
Yeah,
who are these kids
yeah.
that are doing that? Who's going, you know, like, oh, me and my 3 friends went and saw whatever at Rogers and it was $5,000. Like, what? Who are these kids? Like, who's doing that? You know what I mean? Eventually, that's gonna just like it would have to sort of just suffocate itself, you know?
Well, and you know what? If that's the reality, then shame on us for pushing our kids into what I lovingly call the luxury market, because no one's making 5Gs for no reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
There's only luxury market. Like, you know, like I don't know. I haven't been to a big show since like 2005 probably, but like, you know, I haven't, you know, I don't know. I can't even think of what the last thing I saw that was big. I went to the Commodore and saw, well, it was Guru. He was still alive.
wow, yeah,
So that's how long ago. It was Guru and Atmosphere at the Commodore. That was like probably
wow.
2007.
That'd be
You know, that
amazing.
was the last it was really
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah. The Guru himself and Slug, and I think Idea was probably still alive then too.
Wow. I would pay heavy cash. I would pay heavy cash to see that show. You know what I mean? Heavy
It was,
cash.
and it probably wasn't. It was probably like $35. You know,
Yeah.
like which it was 20 years ago, but still $35, and then 20 years later it's $1,000. That's not
No.
that's not the rate of inflation, right? That's a different.
No.
That's completely bonkers.
No, and even then, like I still couldn't justify that. Like, I mean, I would say heavy cash, but then I think about it and I'm like, okay, but I've earned the right to spend heavy cash, right? Like I've worked for 30 years or whatever, right? Like, so to me, it's like,
Yeah, we're
can I
grown
justify
ups.
that? Like, we're grown ups. Like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not stressed out about putting $20 in my gas tank. Like, so the idea that we're supposed to sustain this situation where tickets are, I mean, I looked at Lauryn Hill the other day and I really am going to buy tickets. Like, I really do owe that to my grandpa. I think it's something that is like, you know, very intimate between him and I. Like we play this particular show. It's like a Bob Marley tribute concert or whatever. And like that's the thing. Like when there's chaos in the house or not, like, you know, that's what goes on. And there's this spot in it that Lauren crushes it because she's an absolute legend. And so I was like,
I love
yeah, right.
I
Like,
love the Fugees, and I love the Fugees, and I love that her album too. Like that was a pretty groundbreaking and amazing album, and still is. How much is Lauryn Hill, if I may ask?
so it's right in the middle. It's $220 a ticket, and I was like, okay, I feel like this is like manageable. It didn't feel like I was being
Manageable.
Like, yeah, it felt manageable, and she deserves that to me. But that was like row 1 through 20. Like this wasn't like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like 220 to be right up front. Okay, yeah, that's fair. And even like going all the way back, I think they only reached like 275 or something. Like the tickets were like capped at like $300.
Yeah.
They would go the other way. Sorry. But you know what I'm saying? Like every ticket I looked
Yeah.
at was like between 220 and 275. And I was like, okay, I feel like that's not asking a whole lot for what she stands for, because she's more than just
Yeah.
her music. Like she's iconic, and she's a piece of hip hop culture as far as I'm concerned. She's like an
Sure.
institution of her own, right? I mean, there's not a
Yeah.
ton of like females in that environment. And I think, whether you like her
Mhm.
music or not, it's just important to see. That's how I feel about
Yeah.
it. So I was like, okay, yeah, worth a couple of bucks, right? But you're not going to
Sure.
catch me like at like Beyonce or whatever. Like you're not going to convince
No,
me of like Taylor Swift. Like you're just not. Like I don't
no,
really give a
no,
shit
that's
that much, right? Like
yeah. Yeah, I remember hearing they were interviewing Kurt Cobain, and he was talking about Madonna. Madonna's tickets were $75 at the time. And he was like disgusted. He was like, 75, who's charges it? Madonna, $75? Like he was outraged. Like, and that's sort of like a good, like Nirvana was like, you could see Nirvana for $17.
Yeah.
Right. And then like Woodstock was free. Right. So there's like a trend. Like it's not, yeah, but yeah, he was pretty grossed out by $75.
and rightfully so. And that's how I feel now. I'm like, man,
But
this is too crazy. Like
imagine what Madonna would be now. Like Madonna would be one of the most, I bet. Like it would be up there with.
Someone's got to Google that. Yeah, we need to like Google that. I mean, Madonna, but again, is she one of those people that you just check off the list? I feel like she might be, right? Like,
it's an experience. You can say you saw Madonna, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's not 1985 Madonna though, but still, it's something, I guess. Still, you can something you can always say for the rest of your life. I saw Madonna. I saw Madonna. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. My grandma just tells me to wait till they get their residency. She's like, they'll all get their residency, and then you can spend, $1,000 on a round trip to Vegas and see them at the same time. Like, just wait.
Yeah, right? the Vegas thing, like, what's Britney Spears does like 250 shows a year or something in Las Vegas. Like, they're just, it's kind of like you get put out to pasture in Las Vegas.
You just get put in the mill for a minute. Okay, but before you die, right? Like before you die, we're just like,
just grinding it out in Vegas. Poor old Britney, just getting run through the ringer.
We thought she's like, I didn't even know she was still employed, to be honest. I was like, what do you mean she's in Vegas? Like, what the heck? Right?
Get
like,
back out there.
Yeah, they're not even advertising it to us regular.
No, you could probably just be walking down the streets like, oh, Britney. They're probably all there. Probably everybody from Lady Marmalade is probably there right now as we speak.
Oh my god!
It's like you get a lobster dinner and you get to see Christina Aguilera all week. 11 shows a week.
11 shows.
Come back for the matinee. It's like, oh, that's Christina.
Amazing. Speaking of Lady Marmalade, though, like Missy Elliott really did all that, though. Did you see her take her Lifetime Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, like Song of the Century? Like she really hit some crazy achievements this year. I've just been watching her like in the background. She like crushed Victoria's Secret's like runway show. I was like, what the fuck is she? She hasn't been around in like 100 years, and then she just came back, cleaned house, right, and then took back off again.
Just doing side quests now.
Yeah, totally.
It's like I've beat life. I'm just gonna I'll just do Victoria's Secret now, I guess. It's like Queen Latifah was like that. It's like, I don't know. I win. I guess I'll just be on an episode of Fresh Prince and I'll just fuck around, just side questing. Remember the Fresh Princes where she was Hillary's boss?
Yes.
Those ones.
Oh my god.
Queen
That's
Latifah.
so funny. Totally.
She
Totally.
was. Yeah.
Just did it all. Like,
Another epic career.
yeah.
Epic career.
My god, that
Queen
is the
Latifah.
funniest thing I've heard in a long time. Side quest. Like, yeah, no,
Side questing.
just racking them up. Like, oh my god, that's
I don't
amazing.
know. I've
No, but it's
done
true,
all the. Yeah.
right? Like, we did it. They
Done.
did
Once
it.
you've done it, it's like, I guess it's like Snoop Dogg is like that. Like, I don't know. I
Oh,
guess I'll start a football league and sell weed and I don't know, whatever. He's just. I haven't heard Snoop rap in 20 years. Like,
that
just
dude is a
is just.
whole flipping battle pass. That guy is a whole battle pass. Like, he's a
He just
whole.
is Snoop.
He's just what a thing. But what a like. So I'm somebody who used to wear. I found like at some weird vintage store in Vancouver. I found like a Burberry, like tote bag, I guess, or whatever, and it had Snoop's face on it, and it had like him in an
Whoa.
afro. I actually, you know what it makes me so mad. I kept that thing up until about 2 years ago, and then like completely out of my control, like it ended up not in my possession anymore. I'm choked. Anyways, this thing was amazing. Burberry, Snoop on the front, like knockoff Burberry, but like the pattern, right? Snoop on
Oh
the
yeah.
front, epic. I carried that thing every day in high school, and I didn't give a shit what anybody thought about me. I was like repping Snoop like heavy, right? Like you can't wear nothing but blue bandanas around me, like please get out of here.
I would have been upset to lose that too. That's a key
Yeah.
item.
Yeah, like 20 years later, and then I flail it. How does that happen? Oh, but it's like crazy, right? Because like we've watched him stand the test of time, and I think it's so funny. Like my kid doesn't even know him like as like a gangster rapper. Like he only knows him as like the guy that makes funny like what is that called when you like clip other people's videos reviews? He's like the funny guy that does like reviews or whatever. Like it's like, look at this dancing horse. I'm like, first of all, it's called dressage, and that would be Snoop Dogg. Like, what are you talking about? It's not some guy that does reviews. Like, what?
Just pops up in video games or whatever. Like, yeah. He's everywhere.
Yeah. I bought that for my kid, man. When that came out, that's what I mean. It was a whole battle pass. I paid like $50 for my kid to have him as a game character on a thing that like, I don't know, whatever. Doesn't matter. Snoop is amazing though, because he found a way like to not manipulate. He found a way to navigate the industry in a way that benefited him. Like he stuck with us, like I'm like, dude, he really like grew up with us. He was like, okay, guys, I'm going to beat these charges. And then, like where are my consumers at in their life? Oh, they're having kids now. Okay. Like, let me figure this out so that it like matches where they're at. Like he did that. And whoever was his like, HR, NPR, really, they were really in touch with what was happening in the world. I think that there was some really smart choices made there, because that's a tough one. Other than like Snoop Lion, which I think he probably like didn't really.
That was a bit of a bogey. That one didn't land. That didn't land at all. I remember seeing some of the footage of that, like him showing up at like Tough Gong Records or whatever, and being like, "Hey guys, I brought some weed from California," and they're like, "What?"
Yeah.
What the fuck? They were not impressed. They were not as impressed by Snoop as we are. I don't think.
No,
they were just seemed confused. Taking weed to Jamaica, like that's a miscalculation.
Yeah. Well, yes and no. As someone who's been to Jamaica and is Jamaican, I'll tell you what, like it's a different thing. Like it's swaggy outdoor spliffs, whereas like West Coast hydroponic, supersonic, wheelchair bob, whatever that he's used to. Like I could see why like he was like, I'm just gonna bring my own, we're just gonna carry my own whatever. But he rolled up with fake dreads. Like he rolled up because he didn't have that before, right? Like and then he never let them go. And I feel like that album was to just give him permission to then wear dreads for the rest of his life. Like that was like his permission slip kind of into that culture. Because other than that, how do you have to kind of ask permission or else you're gonna get hated on, right? Like, so that's what I thought. I'm like, the dude went all the way down there, made an album to get permission to wear dreads, and then came back to the States and never went back. Like that to me, that's what I
just forgot about it all, but kept the dreads.
Kept the dreads,
Have you ever heard Steven Seagal's reggae album?
Excuse me?
You gotta check that out later. It's outrageous. Steven Seagal released. It might only be one song, but man,
my
it is
God.
something. It is something else.
That's
Steven Seagal.
amazing.
It's I don't know. It
Pe-
was it's really bad.
People are crazy. You know what? Actually, while we're on like the topic of like bad, so oh my gosh. So we do dinners, Sunday dinners every week basically. And my son, he's 12. He DJs most of the time. That's like his like contribution to the night, right? Or dessert. He does dessert, but anyway. So he convinces us like that he's gonna put on this Nirvana song, and we're like, okay, yeah. Like it's gonna be fine. And he's like, yeah, it's gonna be great, like blah blah blah. And he's like just like talking it up, and we're like, okay, yeah, man, like play the song. And like, all of the adults were like, yeah, we love Nirvana. Like, dude, totally. Like bring it back, roll it back, right? Bring it back to the 90s. Did you know that he did like um a bunch of weird audio like for Bean, like his
No,
daughter? Okay,
no.
so yeah, there's this cut called Bean, and it's like him talking to her like in like a kid voice or whatever. It's horrendous. It like cut through the room like
And
my
it's to music?
yeah, it's just like I don't know. It's like Kurt Cobain just like messing around in the studio. It's like some weird like edit. I don't know, but it's not really. It's like kind of to music, but it's really just kind of him like making sounds. But it sounded like nails on a chalkboard. Like someone literally cut the room. Like people that were like sitting at the table like got up and left. They're like, you know what? Thank you so much for having us. And I'm just like, oh my god. My son's like, yeah, it's Nirvana. I'm like, this is not Nirvana. Like you are grounded. Please don't ever tell people that you listen to Nirvana and play that. It's so embarrassing. Like, but yeah, it was like wild. So if you're bored later, you got to check it out. It's called Bean.
I will.
It's by Kurt Cobain, and it's like it was like the audio version of like episode of Salad Fingers. You know what I mean? It's just like what the fuck is happening right now. Anyways. But speaking of like transitions and people doing things, you really did make some beautiful transitions in music, and we need to hear about them. So tell us a little bit about like going from like rhyming over to like funk and all of that stuff, and what that's been like for you.
Yeah, I definitely always sang a bit like when I rapped, and I'm definitely as time goes on singing more and more and more and rapping less and less and less, Um like I'll always have that. That'll always be there, that influence in the rapping, but I just yeah, it's definitely a quite it's quite a different show. Like and more all the time. We sort of started doing covers, and I'm sort of just writing differently and doing different things, and yeah, it's quite different. I don't know. And then just sort of it's changed the way I write. Like when I write now, I always have the band in mind, like I always sort of think, well, what's this going to sound like? Because I still write and record on beats always, right? And when I release albums, they're on beats. I have not recorded the band at all. Recording a band is actually really hard and really expensive, but I would like to. But my music that is produced and released is still all on beats. I have it all done by DJ Stilo down in Nanaimo there, but
Very cool.
yeah, I'm kind of losing. Yeah, but still though, when I'm writing and when I'm selecting beats, I'm always thinking now, what's this gonna sound like? When it translates over to the band, because I'll do a song, I'll get a rough recording, and then I'll take it to the band and be like, here's a new song, and they'll learn it, and often it sounds pretty different when they do it, because we just we have a guitar and a bass and drums, and beats are often a bunch of other stuff, so
Yeah.
it ends up sounding pretty different. So that's kind of interesting too, having two versions of everything. There's the band version and the beats version, and they're not even always even the same speed. Sometimes we find, well, we'll slow this down, we'll speed it up, but yeah, it's different. It's just a lot more. There's two sides to everything now.
Yeah.
But yeah, but you know, I do still perform without the band sometimes. I still just do it the old-fashioned way. Still have some ties to hip hop. You know, some of my good friends that I've made from the scene, I'll still always work with those guys. But you know, there are definitely also parts of just the hip hop scene in general that I have sort of distanced myself from a little bit. Like that's sort of another part of being in a band is seeing the way other things are. You know what I mean? Like where other scenes, um, and the way things are being done in other scenes and with other genres and with other production companies and stuff, and sort of getting away from some of the like, I don't know, I don't want to like get myself in trouble here, but like some of the like just sort of seedier parts of rap, you know, there's definitely some exploitation of artists happening in rap that you just don't see to nearly the extent in other things. And I don't know what that is about. I think it's probably just the saturation. There's so many rappers, that some of the young artists are just agreeing to some bullshit, you know, like agreeing to stuff that like old ladies at the farmers market who play the ukulele would never tolerate. You know what I mean? Like, just, I'm like, what are you guys agreeing to here? This is crazy, you know? Um, and yeah, being able to step away from that and sort of seeing, being sort of able to get to a point where you can see what of that is real. Because, you know, there's always just this thing of like, well, that's just how it is. But then, you know, when you start dealing with some different people and going some different directions, you kind of see, well, no, that's not just how it is. Or, yeah, maybe it is, you know. You just get just a broader scope of things and an understanding and just different perspectives. And yeah, I definitely find performing as not a hip hop act, you get it. There's a bit of a different level of respect that you get, you know, honestly.
Yeah. I think that's so
It's
important to talk about, man. I'm so glad you said something
yeah.
because to, you know, like, I guess there's two things happening, right? One, the market's really saturated, and so people are just kind of like over it. They're like, yeah, whatever. We know we can get away with like, you know, throwing them $100 or whatever, and then being done with the night, and it doesn't have to be a bigger conversation than that. Which sucks that people are agreeing to that because then, much like the trucking industry, right? It's a slippery slope, and now you've undercut the value for everybody, right? Like now
everyone's undercutting. Yeah.
Yeah, and now we've just accepted it. And like, what do you do, right?
Yeah, yeah, and there's just sort of a few formulas, you know, sort of introduced in hip hop that you don't, you know, like just some of the ways the ticket sales work and putting 12 openers on and hope that they all bring 10 people. And you just, you know, despite what I've always kind of been led to believe, that isn't normal. It isn't happening with other things, right? Like you don't go to a country show or a punk show and there's 12 bands, you know, and yeah, it's, I don't know. I mean, there is other things at play there other than exploitation, like what we talked about, how it's, you know, you can only rap for 20 or 30 minutes. Nobody's doing 3-hour sets as a rapper by themselves. So there's other things other than it being a scam, but in a way there is some of it it's a little greasy, and I try to impart that to younger artists, like, you know, watch out for that or don't agree to that. And yeah, there's definitely people who would consider me like hard to deal with or like I have an attitude, you know, because I say things like that, you know, like it's like, well, I won't accept that. It's like, well, who do you think you are? It's like a grown man. I don't know, you know, like what, you know, like it's kind of yeah, like there's definitely situations people are literally paying to perform, you know, like yeah, which is wild. It's wild, you know, paying to perform or buying tickets up front or signing greasy contracts. There's just a lot of things that I've just never dealt with once, dealing with other things outside of rap. Only rap promoters have ever suggested any of that stuff to me.
Whoa. That like hurts my heart a little bit. I mean, it's kind of obvious sometimes, I guess, like looking in. The thing that always caught
Hmm.
me is that there's like all these amazing local artists that go and open for some of these shows that come through. And I always thought like how cool of that bigger rapper or bigger performer to come in and then swoop in and kick up all the local dudes. I always thought that was so amazing, but I never really thought about it from the other way around, which is that you guys are all going to bring your friends, right? You guys are going to
Hmm.
promote the living shit out of it because this might be the biggest thing that you have done ever, right? Like opening up for so and so, and it's just like holy shit, like. And so I
Yeah,
never really thought about it like the other way around.
the youthful enthusiasm, and it's sort of a way to ensure that the show doesn't tank, right? Like, and I mean that's not really a successful show. You put on 10 openers, they all bring 10 people, and then you're like, there's 100 people here, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, there sort of is, but I don't know. It also sort of dilutes the show, right? It then values who's the better salesperson as opposed to who's the better artist, right? There's a lot of problematic stuff there, but yeah, it's what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And then but, like, to not have that same experience then in outside of it, like, I mean, it must be a little do you find it, like, just easier? Like, like, it's like, "Okay, yeah, we're gonna go to the show, and, we might be the opener, we might be the headliner," like, it's just, like, a little bit more casual? Like, how would you describe that, like, dealings now?
No, I mean you definitely know where you're at, like because it's usually just you and somebody else. Like there's you
Mhm.
and one other band, or usually often not even. Like when we're doing bar shows or just regular pub shows, there's only us, right? And we
Yeah.
just play all night. There's no opener, there's no headliner. It's just us for 3 hours. Um, so it's pretty different. Um, it's just a different setup altogether. Um, but yeah, it's pretty cut and dried. And same with festivals. It's like here's what you're getting paid, here's what your slot is, and you know that weeks and weeks in advance. And I think I was just lucky enough with hip hop that when I started out, none of that stuff existed. It wasn't like that. Right when I was 20 years old and in Vancouver and performing at Monday Night Lives and stuff, and none of that had come along yet. These pay to play promoters and none of that just didn't exist. It was still a much more ground, like grassroots scene. It was still really in its infancy. We didn't even have a lot of like predecessors. There wasn't like old guys around. It was almost like the first wave, of rappers out here. There wasn't a lot before us. Like we're talking late 90s.
Mhm.
I mean, if you look at Vancouver in the 80s, I mean, how many rappers? Like a handful, right? It was this weird,
Yeah.
obscure thing, and even by the 90s, it still was. Um, it was still kind of an unusual thing to do. Rapping like I was rapping in 1996, and that was like weird. It was a weird thing for me to be doing, right? People were like, "You're what? You're rapping?" It's just me and my three friends and nobody else. There was nobody else. We had no competition. We had no predecessors. We had no um, formula to follow. It was just like it was all just new territory. It was just fresh ground. There was nothing, and that was what was cool about it. I mean, I think that's a blessing to have been a part of something in its first wave. I mean, it was its first wave in terms of here in this place. Obviously rap existed, but even on the whole, it was only 20 years old by then, right? So it was really new
Yeah.
here, and it was cool. That was part of what was exciting about it. And I've kind of said, if I was 20 right now, I don't think I would bother with it. You know, like I don't think I would take it up in if I was looking at this current landscape as a young person looking to do something art in the arts and in music, because I've got a pretty wide base of performing arts. So I could have chosen anything, right? And in that time and place, I was like, oh, rap's so cool and fresh. But I think if looking at it now, I'd be like, oh man, rap is toxic and weird. I don't know, like, I don't know. I don't think I would have chosen it in 2024 if I was 20 years old,
That's, I find that so interesting because you are entertainment, something that you've always been a part of. Theater is something that's always been a part of your life. And the fact that you chose, rap wasn't really like your trajectory as a kid, right? Like that wasn't really on the, you were a fan of rap, but it wasn't
I was
like
a fan. And
yeah. Which, I mean,
and then eventually you're like, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try doing it. Of course you're listening to rap all the time and you're that kind of a person. You're like, well, let's give it a go. Let's see if we can do it. And then like, turns out we can. And, it just sort of happened, but it was just it was just a totally different landscape 25 years ago. Right. Like it was just completely different.
Well,
and I mean, partly I was different too. Like partly that, right? I was the young kid who didn't know anything and was just all enthusiasm and like, whatever, I'll do it,
yeah.
But also, nobody was getting like, I don't know, there wasn't the level of getting dicked around, and you were judged. The big thing I think is that back then you were still judged on merit, right? If you were dope, you got on, right? And that was it. And I'm not sure if that's really how it is anymore. Everyone's looking at all this other stuff, right? And
but
I don't love that.
You had to be dope, but you had to like prove it to, I mean, your biggest critics were the people that were near you, were your friends, were like, because you're talking about, I mean, in 96, I could maybe name 7 rappers if I had to like really try, And
Yeah.
and I mean that in like a real way. Like we were there, right? Like we were there. So you didn't have to be part of the scene to know that, because we've been selling music the same way always. And the West Coast wasn't doing really anything because everyone was hanging out in freaking Toronto, like trying to even say like, hey, there's a scene over here, was like, I don't know. You had to really like make a point, like spray paint some shit and like break dance, and like you had to like really push like the narrative for people to like understand that was even like happening in Vancouver, and you were part of that groundbreaking piece of it, like, which is amazing to me, right? And like, so I guess, and you're saying like there was no one that came before you to teach you these things, like, no, you are that standard now that like the youth come up and are looking for. Like you are that standard, you're that foundation. I mean, you and a handful of other people that I've been blessed to have a conversation with, but you specifically are actually like making moves to like make sure that the youth have the space and have the conversation. Like you're doing, like, tell me a little bit about these nights that are happening and like why they're important. And now that you just said all that, I'm like, I mean, it's pretty obvious why it's important, because
I think you got to teach kids how to navigate it, but I feel like that's kind of the only way to give back as an older artist. If you want to give back to the scene, all you can do is help. You can just give back to the younger individuals, like the young artists, right? Like I can't give to rap as a thing, but I can maybe help guide some of the younger artists so they don't have to learn everything the hard way. That's kind of what we're trying to do with our youth hip hop nights. I'm hosting a youth hip hop night with a local group called Unbroken Chain, which is under the umbrella of the Indigenous Women's Sharing Society. It's like a local nonprofit, and they do outreach, and they do a lot of youth based outreach, or that's more what the Unbroken Chain part of the group is. Obviously, the Indigenous Women Sharing Society is focused towards Indigenous women and the issues there, but Unbroken Chain is kind of an offshoot of that organization. It's more youth focused, and once a month we just run these youth hip hop nights in their space. We set up DJs and we set up all the sound and we set up lights and just kind of make a little show of it. And you can come and sort of learn to write, learn to DJ, learn to perform. You can perform your original stuff. You can we have ciphers. We have just kind of, just whatever, no pressure. You can engage to whatever extent you are comfortable with engaging. Sort of looking at youth like 14 to 24, like young adults, not necessarily children, but youth. And yeah, we've had some pretty good success with that. We bring out my friend DJ Swagger, who's a local DJ who I've started working with, who's really cool. And Alec Mack comes out a lot. He's another young artist who's really got a good trajectory going. Maybe a good candidate for this show in the future, Alec Mack.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
yeah, so yeah, that's pretty cool, and we've had some good success with that. We get kind of a core group of kids that always comes out, and then we have some newcomers, and just try to, it's a lot of it too is just about giving those kind of more at-risk youth like something to have, like it doesn't, I think when there's a young person who's searching for something or just something other than like an alternative to negative stuff, I think it doesn't really matter what it is, right? If it's sports or if it's art or music or whatever, like they just need something to direct their energy to, and we're just kind of hoping that this will be that for some youth. And we've got people who have been coming long, like 10 years, like guys that have been coming since they were 14 that are like men now. And, since long before I was involved. And, yeah, so those are success stories, and some of them have gone off and are in the city now and are performing and are rapping and kind of gained that foundation through that program, right?
That's so amazing. Is that open to like the public for like anyone in that area that wants to
Yeah,
check it out?
just anybody who wants to show up. It doesn't cost anything. We order pizzas, like, whatever, just drop in.
Beautiful. And where can people go to check that out?
It's downtown in Courtenay. You can find all the information through Unbroken Chain and Indigenous Women Sharing Society. We just do it in their office, which is in downtown Courtenay. It's like on England Ave. The next one's December 7th. I think we're going to do sort of a Christmassy themed one.
Very
Pearl
cool.
Harbor Day. That's Pearl Harbor Day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But that's just a coincidence. Yeah, that's been pretty good. I've been doing that with them for a year or two now, and yeah, it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun and it's rewarding, and we'll bring out guests, and sometimes bring Surreal's done a few of them, and Ron, and they come out, and then you can say that. You can say as a young artist, you can be like, oh, I've opened for Surreal. It's almost like gives you a little bit of a resume, having done a few of those. And when we bring somebody to headline and you get to, it's almost like it's like a resume, more or less, right? You can tell people that going forward, when they ask you what you've done.
It's so great in like thinking about it as like a resume. Like, what a great place to like get a little bit of foundation, a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of back and forth, ask questions. It's a safe place, right? Like nobody feels stupid because everybody's there for the same reason. Like, that's awesome. And
it's really supportive.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds that's awesome. Kudos to you guys for doing that. Kudos to everybody that like, volunteers their time to like hang out there and do, be the headliner for the night or whatever. Surreal's
For
such a
sure.
beautiful human anyways, and it's really cool to hear. I love those like names getting thrown around because, the
Yeah.
I don't know, we said only a few people started the West Coast scene, right? But when I look at it now, it actually makes me a bit emotional because when I look at it from what it started as and how it evolved, and we did make the map and we're on the map. Like we're on the map.
Hmm.
Right now, every single artist that I talk to, they're either like working working in the mental health field. It's some
Yeah.
sort, right? Like, but like in like a real way. They're like, dude, I'm a social worker. I'm a social worker. Oh, I'm a this and I'm a that, and I'm just like, holy man, I don't know what happened or whatever. Like, sorry, I'm glad you guys survived, but like,
It's
thank
interesting.
goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, like thank goodness. And you guys have found a way to like put all of that stuff into these amazing into these amazing spaces for the youth. And that seems to be like the goal for everybody. Like everyone I talk to is like, yeah, this is why it's important. This is what I didn't have. This is what, maybe pushed me to self-medicating, or this is what, the party scene was too much. And I ended up doing it's like you guys have all taken these situations and brought it to a safe place for the youth. And I just think that it's like highly commendable. And I just love you guys for it. I really do. Like
Yeah.
appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah. There is a funny, there's a link there. There's this sort of kindred spirit. Everybody sort of seems to, yeah, like you say, there's a lot of support workers and a lot of social workers and just a lot of rappers find their way to that. Well, that's probably the way they found their way to rap in the first place, right? It was like those same kids that come to our program. It was like, here's something that's going to keep me out of trouble, get me out of my situation, give me something else to focus on, and then it's like, okay, I've succeeded in that, and then it's kind of like you're running back into the fire, pulling people
Yeah.
out, who were like
Yeah.
you, and you were like, man, I wish someone had pulled me out, and you can be that person for somebody maybe who is like you were or whatever, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, Surreal and Ron, and I still do a lot of stuff with them. They're definitely still my big tie to rap and the rap scene. Like they're a great example of people who are sort of doing it the right way and not feeling the need to squeeze anybody or do anything shifty. They're just succeeding on merit, the old school way. Um,
The old school way,
yeah,
a little bit of respect and a little sweat equity, and yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, not just squeezing it out of somebody else. Yeah, yeah. We're doing. Ron and Matt and I are going to be doing a couple shows with Ra the Rugged Man when he's on the island.
Yeah, tell me about
Like
that. That was my
this.
next question. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's this weekend. Thursday night is Victoria. Friday night is at Thursday night is at Victoria at the Lucky Bar. I think that's an early show. I think that starts at like 8. And then Friday night we're taking Ra the Rugged Man to Alert Bay,
Oh my
which
god.
is
Okay, sorry.
that's like, can you imagine? Like, I don't know if you've ever been to Alert Bay,
I have, yeah.
but
Of course I have.
can you imagine Ra the Rugged Man just walking down the street, like going into the coho, or like, it's, I don't know, it's gonna be like no pun intended, but it's gonna be surreal. Like
Yeah.
just just seeing that man in that environment, like putting those two things together, like it's like you're a long way from Brooklyn, RA.
Oh my
But man,
god.
what an amazing thing for the community of Alert Bay, right? Like Vance Jr. and Vance Sr. and Roberta Harris, they're the people that always host us up there. And they've agreed to bring Ari the Rugged Man. And, I mean, like, I don't know, but I really doubt that they're making money on these shows. Like, this is something they're doing for their community, right? Like, they're doing this as a gift to their community, right? And they're just real leaders, they're leaders that have emerged in that community as opposed to being elected or selected or whatever, right? and it's really cool to see that kind of thing. Like, it's like, yeah, let's bring Rugged Man up here. Everyone will freak, and they will. Like, the people up there are just so receptive, and they're so enthusiastic, and they're so, it's there's so much more appreciative, right? Like a city person, it's like, oh yeah, there's already the Rugged Man, oh, but there's 10 other things, and they're fickle, but those people are just gonna have the time of their lives. And then the Saturday night, the 22nd, will be Nanaimo at the Queens. So 3 nights of Rugged Man, and then he's carrying on. He's been in Canada on tour for a while now, a couple of weeks, and Surreal has managed to secure all the island dates of that tour and get to be involved in that. So that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Ari the Rugged Man, he's definitely like, I'm definitely a pretty big fan. So I'm pretty excited to just be there. He's famously just amazing live. Like, his live show is bonkers. I've seen him a few times, and he just gets so crazy. He just, one of the most intense energies you'll ever see from that man. So yeah.
I just want to go back. Would you mind saying the individuals that are from Alert Bay that have been hosting all these shows? Would you mind just saying their name again? I just want to go back and give them a little bit of credit, because I want to talk specifically about what they've been up to.
Yeah, they're family. They're Vance Senior and Vance Junior. So Vance, the Conway, and then the mom / wife, the mom of Vance and the wife of Vance, is Roberta Harris, and she's also the principal of the school there. And so she's like a real community leader. And then the Vances are just these really, really nice, mellow guys, and young Vance is pretty in touch with what's going on musically, I think, and he's sort of, and this is just something they've done. They do as a family. They have a little like kind of restaurant called the Cook Shack, and that's where they host these shows. But before the shows, they always bring us all to their house, and they like cook us this feast. Like, we've had junk up there. We've had, like, we've been up there quite a few times. We went up there on that, when we went on tour a few years ago. We did a Western Canadian tour, and we went up there, and they just they get us on the ferry. We just say, hey, we're the rappers, and they're like, come on, like, just come on the ferry. And then we go over there, and they make us a feast, and then they put us in these cabins. They just treat us like royalty, and they're just the nicest, coolest people. And again, like, there's no way that they're making money on this. This is something they're doing as a gift to the community of Alert Bay, right? They understand the value of that. And again, their youth, the youth there, get to see that, right? It's like, hey, this guy's just from Courtenay. This guy's just from Nanaimo. These are just guys like us, and they're here with Rugged Man. So, maybe we could do that too. We're just guys from the island. They're just guys from the island, and look what they're doing. You know what I mean? And I just really think they see the value, and they're willing to invest. They're willing to just gift this, and it's really something else. They're amazing people.
It actually makes me a bit emotional, because it just goes to show that anybody can make a massive difference to their community, right? You don't have to be in it your whole life. It doesn't have to be this like big thing. It can just be a space, right? It can just be a space, and you guys can get people in there. And the effect that has on a community, especially a community that's as secluded as Alert Bay, I know kids that come from that community. I know that some of them don't understand that there's actually even more than 2 options in life, right? They see like some blue collar stuff, and then some not blue collar stuff, and my heart is with them all the time, because I know like the struggles that I don't personally know, but I can understand like the struggles that they go through. And so to have some dudes come in and just play some music and show them that it's totally possible and that it's not unattainable and that there is another option and there's other things that you can be doing and there's other things that you could be spending your time on. And that it's not just like, it's not just this like, impossible dream. It makes my whole heart happy. I think what you guys are doing to bring music into that space, and then met with what they're doing to bring music into that space, has obviously affected their community in a big way. And I think it's just such a powerful thing to be able to go in there and be like, look, we're just some regular folks doing some really incredible things, and it's totally attainable because here we are. Right. Like, massive respect to all of you guys. It's just, so amazing. And to have him in that space, like, what a wild thing. Like, what a wild
it's gonna be weird
thing.
It's gonna be weird.
Experience. Yeah. How cool
it's gonna be cool for him. Like, we might see some whales or some, like imagine being rugged, because he lives in Germany now. I think he's been in Germany for several years. He's one of the sort of American celebrities who have sort of abandoned America, but like I think he's been over there for a while now. He raises his kids over there and stuff, so it'll be a crazy culture shock for him too, I think, right? Like,
oh, totally. It's beautiful over there, right? Like, you gotta I guess you gotta do the road trip, because that's even maybe bigger than going on stage with him, like to be that close with him for that whole like to get there,
be in the car all the way up there, maybe see it's like 200, I think it's 280K or something from Courtney, so like 400 from Nanaimo. And they're gonna go from Victoria, like they're gonna do, so they'll drive the whole island, like it's Victoria Thursday, Alert Bay Friday.
Beautiful.
So they're gonna drive the entire island that day, like, which is crazy.
That is crazy. I love that he's like getting the whole West Coast tour with you guys. Like, that's such a like local amazing tour. I mean, I can visualize it because I've been there, and think of the things that he's gonna see, like you said, like whales, the eagles, maybe an elk. Like, there's just like so much.
A bear, like who knows, all kinds of things that could happen.
Amazing. Awesome. I'm so stoked for you guys. That's going to be super deadly. I'm sad that I'm not going to be there, actually, but shout out to you guys for making that happen and hanging out and going to Alert Bay and doing the drive and going into that community and showing the youth what is up over there and showing them that there's another option other than maybe what's near them. And hanging out and kicking it and coming back. So I don't have to tell you to keep doing that, and I don't have to tell you that it makes a big difference, but obviously you know what's up because you guys keep doing it over and over again. So massive love. So other than the youth nights, not other than, but like, as well as these youth nights and the Rugman shows that are coming up, you have an album coming out. Are we allowed to talk about that?
Yeah, I do. I have an album coming out. I'm pretty much done recording it, I would say. I think I'd like to maybe have one or two songs. I have one half done with Surreal that I'd like to put on there. And I have Christy Vanden, my drummer that we were talking about earlier. She's featured on a song. She plays guitar on it and sings. And Alec Mack, who we also talked about earlier, I have him on a song too. He's a young artist here in the Comox Valley that I think is very promising. Like, there's just something about him. He's only about, I don't know, he's like maybe 23 or something like that. And I don't know, I just get a feeling like I think he's got it. Like, I think he might do it, He's just got a really good sound, and he's just really dope, and he's smart, he's doing the smart moves. You know what I mean? Like, there's that whole other part. Like, being a good artist is one thing, but you have to be smart at all those other things, and he has that mind. He's performing like every week all over the, he's doing it. I think he's one to keep an eye on. But yeah, he's gonna be on my album, and the album will be called Song and Dance Man. That's what I'm calling it. I got and I've little Corey, Coyote Corey's doing the art. DJ Stilo doing all the mixing and mastering. Hopefully, I'll get Clicks by Klaus on the line here soon. Start putting out some videos for it. I like to release them as CDs, like at first. I'll probably have it only available as a CD for a while, and then I'll put it on streaming after. People still buy CDs hand to hand at shows, and just with streaming, like if I sell one CD, that's like 10,000 streams as far as money, you know?
Whoa.
So
Okay. Yeah.
so I just restrict it to that, and it makes it kind of an exclusive thing, right? Like then only you have it, right? You can't get it unless you buy the CD, you know, like it's this, I don't know. That's just how I do it. I don't know. I've just about sold out of my last album. I have them in a few stores, and I've re-upped at a few stores, like Bop City here in town carries my CD, and I actually just went down there a while ago and gave them some more because they had sold out of them. And yeah, I should run out of those at exactly the same time as I get the new one. So that's good. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I feel like it's a stronger album than the first one. It's more cohesive, you know. I kind of created it more as a project rather than just put 10 songs together or whatever, you know what I mean? It has a feeling to the whole thing, kind of.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's what we miss about the album, period. Like you know,
Yeah.
the like beginning, middle, and end. This is the order I'm supposed to hear it in. Like this is the
Mhm.
atmosphere. You know what I mean? The atmosphere of the album,
Totally.
and the mindset that the artist had going into it. No, I'm with you. Like I think this is a piece of culture that we're actually missing. And if everyone stopped streaming and just went straight back to CDs, I wouldn't be mad about it. Like I miss that experience so much. I miss sourcing them out. I miss feeling
some
important.
sort of because then you know I remember that being so exciting. Like your friend the DJ would come back from Vancouver and he'd have all these records and you'd be like, whoa, you know, and that was how you learned about new things.
Mm-hmm.
Someone would go to the city and come back with stuff, and you know, everything's so readily available. You don't have to earn anything. Someone just says it and you're like, oh, boom, and then you have it, you know? Yeah, that sort of sourcing it out. I know people like Surreal has released albums on USB, like on flash drives. You know, you just buy the flash drive and the album's on it, you know, things like that. Like that's probably a more practical. Yeah, and it's probably more practical than the CD because a lot of people don't have CD players even in their car. Like, I mean, I just got out of a car with a tape deck like like a year ago. I had a tape deck like a year ago. So, you know, I don't know. I'm old fashioned, but
you don't have to explain
people...
that. Listen, the most musically inclined, like Canadian legend, artist. You know, I don't want to give too many secrets away, but anyways, the person who introduced me to music, like that's how he still listens to, you know, the tape deck that goes in with the cord that comes out to like the Discman, like
like the headphone jack coming out of a tape in like Wayne's World. I remember watching Wayne's World, and they had this Discman on the dashboard, and then it went in, and Tia Carrera was so impressed. It's like, ooh, where'd you get the CD player? Yeah, I remember. Oh man, yeah. Anyways, people will still.
My childhood. Yeah. My dad rocked that. He rocked that with two clothes, like deep.
Yeah.
Like, deep, all day long, man.
Yeah.
So yeah. So,
but I do find people still buy CDs, even if you just put them into your computer or whatever, you know, like people still buy them. Yeah. I do have one song out that's going to be on the album, Don't Ever. I have that out as a video that released in like early summer. It's a really good video, actually. Little Corey, the guy who's doing the art, is the star of the video too. He plays like a boxer, you know. We shot it all at the boxing gym here in town. They were really cool. The coach over there, Johnny Mack, he was in the video too. He played the boxing coach, and they just really helped us out a lot and made it really made it work. You know, if he hadn't have been so cooperative, he brought one of his boxers down to be the guy that boxed little Corey, and it just, their cooperation really made it work. You know, it wouldn't have been much without them being in it and doing what they did, you know, and I like that. I like that community. Everybody knows the boxing gym. Everybody knows Johnny Mac. Like, and I just like to do things like that in my videos, you know, just sort of tie it in.
Represent, man. That's what you got to speak for us.
Yeah,
you got to make
totally.
it cool to be in the city. You know what I mean? Make it cool to, I mean,
Yeah.
City by Nanaimo. You know what I mean? Make it cool to be in Courtney and Comox. Make it cool because like lives depend on it, man. Already the rugby
Totally.
man, our lives depend on it. You boys doing this stuff, you doing this stuff, hanging out, making youth nights. Like this is, our lives depend on it.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. Like it actually, it's important. This is important stuff. Like what you're doing is important, right? Making that landscape in the background, like it's important.
Well, and it's, you know, it's really fun too. It's rewarding. I don't know what I would be without it. You know what I mean? I'd just be another dude working a job and mowing his lawn. You know what I mean? Like it's a big part of who we all are. And, you know, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's just ingrained. It's been, you know, I've been a rapper more than I haven't been. You know, like it's more than half of my life. That's been my existence and my identity. You know, so I don't know. I don't know what I'd be if it went all the way back from before that, when I was 15 years old.
You make it, like specifically, you make it cool to be from the West Coast, make it cool to be from the island. And I can't stress that enough, and how valuable that is, especially to the youth that are there. And not even the youth. I mean, even as a parent, like thank gosh you guys are out there like making it cool, because there's kids there for real. I mean, Calico's in the comments, she knows, right? If we can't convince our kids to like really thrive in this environment, like it's a really scary thing on the other side of our home being the spot, right? Like it's I don't want to scare everyone, but like the big bad world is like, you know, we call it that for a reason, and it's not easy. And if we have people that are like you that promote our communities in a way that makes people want to be better and thrive and get in there and support and collaborate, and you know what I mean, then we actually stand a chance at this. We actually stand a chance of like raising good, productive, contributing members. You know, like fuck society, but like, you know, just good kids into good men. I mean, girls too, but I'm always preaching about the guys, but like, it's just like we stand a chance when we have people like you around. Like, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. It's what you hope to give, right? But I'm noticing my battery.
Oh no!
I've dropped like I'm getting down there. I think powering these headphones is really chewing it up. Just so you know. I'm at 15.
Okay,
gone from 90 to 15.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, darling,
going fast.
I appreciate you so much for hanging out with us tonight. I think just
of course I appreciate being here.
Yeah, well, the door's wide open all the time. I can't thank you enough from someone from being from the West Coast. I think that, again, like what I just said, it's so fundamentally important to know that there is people like you that are like promoting those spaces, our spaces, in a way that we want to be a part of and be a community again. There was a lot of disconnect that happened, you know, even if we just blame it on like the opioid epidemic, we don't have to get into all that, or COVID or whatever. You can blame it on whatever. There was a lot of things that happened specifically on the island that were like crushing communities, leveling it. Blue collar gone, right? Fishing gone. Logging gone. It was just like one thing after another, after another, after another. And we paid the price for that. And so, So like the door is wide open. You're more than welcome anytime. I appreciate you coming on here and telling us about all the beautiful things that you're doing, but also being inspirational to the people that are like, you know, hanging out in the comments and are wondering what they can do in their community and like what they can, you know, do to make a difference and who they can talk to and even just what it kind of looks like, right? Like you don't have to, it doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to work. Get a couple tables, throw them up, grab a couple freaking chairs, right? Call your homies, like,
Sure. Yeah.
you know, grab some tape, mark it off. You don't need a stage, mark it up, man. Whatever. Like get
That's
some.
that's how it starts.
Yeah, just get it done.
That's how it starts. Just nothing to it but to do it, as they say. And then it, you know, the growth just kind of happens. You know, if you just do it and you do it with sincerity and intent, it just, the rest just kind of happens on its own.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight.
Thank you, of course.
Absolutely. For you guys in the comment section, thank you so much for joining us and tapping in and leaving comments. If you guys, you know, remember to lean on each other and to reach out to us. And if you guys need to do that, you can do that with the Pinecase warm line. It's 250-289-3948. It's available 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. It's ran by some beautiful volunteers. You don't have to tell us who you are, but if you do and you tell us what community you're in, we can look for the resources in that community and we can make sure they end up in the comments, in the text message position, in the messages. So that way, when you leave the conversation, you have the information that you need. So don't hesitate to do that. Of course, the big number for the suicide prevention line is #988. And the Pinecase warm line is 250-289-3948. You guys take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Oktiv6, thank you once again. And yeah, guys, we'll see you next Tuesday. Bye for now.
Yeah. Thanks.
Peace.
Please stay strong. Please stay strong. The further you take my rights away, I'ma run to it. Refuse to hear my voice. Speak loud when I spit it, but you don't get it. You just wanna be a side critic. See somebody else showing hate in the side of the road with it. Now how would you feel standing on the sideline and watch a color of a nation deteriorate over time? The flag real high, but compassion 6 feet below. Now you're searching for that justice that decided to never show. Deny my place, I'm back with a trace. Keep up the pace, tight lace, game face, get back in the race. Whatever they did could never be undone. Every dark night ends with the rising of the sun. Squandered every wealth that's built from the mud. Squandered every wealth that's built from the blood. Squandered every wealth that's built in chains. Stolen from the ancestors, running through my veins. With the strength of 1,000 lion and the strength of 1,000 giant, please stay strong. Please stay strong. With the strength of 1,000 elephant and the strength of 1,000 tiger, we stay strong. We stay strong. We stay strong. I can see, run to the light at the end of the tunnel winner. We stay strong. I can't breathe. We're gonna get oxygen without the justice system. We stay strong. And I know, gotta keep my head together. We stay strong. Don't doubt me, please don't doubt me. We stay strong. Tell me how can we be strong if we still shooting? Tell me how can we be strong if we still looting? Tell me how can we be strong if we still hating? Please tell me now, please.